Hello, my name is David L. and I'm the author of You Are Gods. It's available at Amazon.com as either a digital download or a hard copy. The easiest way to get your copy is to do an author search by my name, David. Last name is spelled E-H-L, and you can order your copy at Amazon.com today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about communication. See, I had heard the term prayer in church and it gave me the wrong idea. I thought prayer was something that it was just when I talk intentionally to God. And when I started reading near-death experiences, I saw things very, very differently. They said that God is absolutely everything, that there's nothing that exists that's not God. So if God is everything, then everything you think, feel, say, and do is a communication with God. And I was like, oh my goodness, this explains a lot. This explains why I was having some answers to prayers that I recognized and some that I didn't. You see, all of my prayers were being answered. It's just that my unintentional prayers were canceling out my intentional prayers. And I didn't understand that. It's not till I started to get my intentional prayers and my unintentional thoughts, feelings, and emotions in alignment that I started to see things fall into place. But there was still a mystery behind all of this. And I was trying to understand it, and it led to a conversation one day with a friend of mine who is a professor of astronomy at a local college. And he told me that the human body radiates electromagnetic radiation. I was like, really? And he actually reached behind me and grabbed a radio telescope, a little handheld one, and he used it for studying the stars. It had a dish on it that focused all of the energy from the stars onto a sensor, and then it would emit a signal. Well, he took that and turned it on and pointed it into the corner of the room. No signal. He started moving it across the room, and when it pointed to me, it started beeping. Beep, and then he passed away, and it quit beeping. And he turned around and went back, beep, and what I realized was my body was emitting electromagnetic radiation. Oh! It's a scientific principle. It's been proven. Your body emits electromagnetic radiation. The problem is that scientists haven't studied what the signals are that you're sending off, what they mean. And so this led me to realize that all day, every day, I am emitting a signal. And that signal is communicating to the universe around me. And then I started doing research, and it talked about the different kinds of signals, the different energy of the signals. That a very low energy signal produces a very limited response. And what are those low energy signals? Anger, resentment, fear, all of the negative emotions. And that if you want to increase the energy of your signal to send out a stronger signal, it takes a higher energy. And how do you do that? Well, you focus on positive emotions, the highest being love. And I was stunned. I was like, oh, this reminds me so much of what Jesus was talking about. You know, at one point they asked Jesus what the greatest commandment was. And he said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. And the second, he threw in a freebie. He said, you shall love thy neighbor as thyself. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's all about love. When you start to understand that your neighbor is yourself, that it's not just a touchy-feely sort of feeling or emotion. It's true. There's nothing that exists that's not God. So if you love God and love your neighbor, they are one and the same. And not only are they God and your neighbor, but they're really, really, technically, behind the scenes, hidden. The truth is, they're you. So when you learn to love everything that is around you, something starts to change. And you start to learn that you can set your own intention. You don't have to blame other people when your life is not going your way. You can set your intention, infuse it with love, focus on what it is that you like, what it is that you love, that you're passionate about. What do you care about? And focus on that, and all of a sudden you'll start to see those things show up in your life. And you start to understand that it's not other people that are to blame for your problems in your life. It's the signals you've been sending out. And it was a revelation, and suddenly I began to start slowly but surely putting things together. And it has changed my life. I no longer blame other people for my problems or for things happening in my life that I don't like. I now have the ability to focus on what it is I like and see that show up. I have been given that. The amazing thing is, all I have to do is send out the signal. As Jesus said, it's the Father that doeth the work. I don't have, of myself, I am nothing. All I have to do is send out the signal, and then God makes it happen and brings it to me. But the key is to send out a strong and clear signal. So when you're communicating with God, focus on what it is that you're communicating. What do you want to communicate? If you realize that everything that you think, feel, say, and do is communication and God responds to it, how do you want to communicate? Do you want to send out anger and resentment, or do you want to send out love and something that you're passionate about and focus on that and see that show up in your life? And what will happen is it will change. And you don't have to feel at the whim and the mercy of other people, of this world that's around you that seems like it's beyond our control. Turns out the hidden key has always been within us, in our mind. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's in your midst. It's inside of you. So pay attention to what you're communicating all day long. It's not just those intentional moments. It's what are you thinking about? Focus on what it is you love. Think about it. Take the time to figure out what it is that you love, that you're passionate about. If you can't think of how it is that you can be passionate about something, think about how you'd like to be treated. And visualize people treating you in a loving and kind manner, and visualize the world being loving and kind to you. And all of a sudden, you start to be loving and kind to it, and it becomes a win-win situation. And it becomes that spiral upward. So, think about what you're communicating all day, every day, because that's what's coming into your life. Thanks, and have a good day.